Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Dylan and I'm back again with another daily stats video preparing you for the upcoming test. We are on our 4th day in a row of our daily uploads, the night before the test the next day, and that means we're on our last day. Okay, so far I've gone over how to pass the GPS paper, how to pass the reading comprehension paper, how to pass the maths paper, but you've still got one left. So arithmetic and reasoning has already happened. Reasoning 1, you've got reasoning 2 left, and this is what this video is all about. But before I go into showing you how to answer these 2-mark questions and how to get to that pass mark, I've got to say thank you. I'm going to take time out right now just to say a huge thank you to everyone who's watched our videos this week. It has been absolutely insane. I can't believe how many of you there are. So from the bottom of our hearts, we love making videos for you guys. We love seeing all the comments saying how much we're helping. That is the aim here. We're trying to help as much as possible. So without further ado, please do like this video, please do share it as you've been doing so often, and subscribe because we've got loads more coming. And I really want to know down in the comments, what videos do you want to see now? Because in a couple of weeks, when the embargo, it's called, which means we can't talk about anything on the SATs papers so far, neither can you, so don't leave any comments saying anything, we will do a walkthrough of all of these papers the minute we are allowed to. So if you subscribe to our channel, you'll be one of the first to see that. So make sure you do that for us. But what do you want to see in the meantime? Because I'm so happy to keep making videos for you guys. So let me know down in the comments, what do you want to see in the meantime before we go through the 2024 papers when they're released. Anyway, that's enough of me chatting. Let's see how to smash this reasoning paper. What I've done is I've got a whole bunch of 2-mark questions. Okay, so these are all 2-mark questions here. And the first thing I'm going to say when it comes to approaching 2-mark questions is there is something you need to know, else you'll get 0. And remember, this is all about passing this paper, okay? Look at yesterday's video if you want to look at the marks. It's about half marks over the entire of the maths papers 1, 2, and 3. But you are going to get 0 marks on these questions if you only do 1 step. Now, 2-mark questions mean there's usually at least 2 steps. Sometimes there are 3 steps. But you might think, okay, well, if there's 2 marks, if I just do the first part of a question, I might get 1 mark. And that is not true. If you look at the mark scheme, it says you have to show the full working out all the way through the question. The only way you'll ever get 1 mark is if you make an arithmetic error. Okay, and that's really important to understand. If you just put 1 step down and think, I might get a mark at least, you won't. So when you're attempting these 2-mark questions, this is what I do. I put a line down the middle of the box. This is just my preference. You can do it if it's going to help you. And I know now I've got to do something at least on either side. I've got to do at least 2 steps. I've got to fill in those blanks. That's my number 1 tip for these 2-mark questions. Let's solve them together. So you're going to have a go at these, okay? A cinema sells tickets at 3 different prices. 1/20th of the tickets are price A. 3/5 of the tickets are price B, the rest of the tickets are price C. What fraction of the tickets are price C? And there's going to be a theme in these questions today because the underlying maths is very often similar to what we see in arithmetic paper, which we find easier. The problem is actually figuring out what the question is asking us. So I'm going to show you now, every time we go through a question, I'm actually going to unpick what it's about. This is just a fractions question. Now that may seem pretty obvious for this one because we've got fractions written down there. It's all about fractions. So I want you to have a go. Remember, draw a line. So you know you've got to do at least 2 things. And yeah, let's see how you get on. Let's see what you do. See if you can get an answer and I'll go for it after. Okay, so what we've got here is it's important to know that all of the tickets, A, B, and C, is 1 whole. That's important. Now, 1/20th of the tickets are price A. So we've got 1/20th plus 3/5 of the tickets are price B. So what is that as a fraction in total? Well, straight away you should notice the denominators are different. We have to make them the same. And luckily for us, 5 goes into 20. And that means the denominators would be the same there. So 5 times 4 is 20. Do the same to the top. And we get 12 out of 20. Now I can very easily add these 2 fractions together. 1 plus 12 is 13. So I've got 13 out of 20. And now I need to figure out what's left over. So add what equals 1 whole amount. Here's where the second step comes in. How many 20ths do we need to add on to 13 20ths to get to 1 whole? Now, you might be shouting at the screen telling me 1 whole is where the denominator, which we know is 20ths, we're going to write it straight in, is equal to the numerator. So 1 whole is 20 20ths. So I've already got 13 of them. How many more do we need to make sure we get to 1 whole? In this case, it's obviously going to be 20ths, and I need 7 of them because 13 plus 7 is 20. That's how you answer that question, okay? 2-mark question, you've got to do at least 2 things. If in an arithmetic paper you were given this, 1 take away 13 out of 20, you'd probably know how to do it. If you were given 1/20th plus 3/5, you'd probably know how to do it. And you'd get 1 mark, you'd get 2 marks in arithmetic paper. That's what this is. That's what reasoning is a lot of the time. It's arithmetic hidden inside of a word problem. And the tricky bit is figuring out what we have to do. And that's where practice comes in. So let's try another one then. What is this question asking you to do? Okay, so think about two things here. What is the actual maths underneath? What are we doing? Are we adding, subtracting, fractions, decimals, percentages, geometry? What is it? And then try and work it out for me. Remember, 2 marks. It's always best to do 2 things. Draw that line down the middle. Have a go, see what you can do. We'll go through it after. Okay, so this one is all about multiplication and addition. Okay, that's what we actually have to do to solve this. I was going to say it's about measurement, but we're given the measurements, the conversions here. That's part of the question, so we don't actually have to do much. It's just in the context of measurement. So use this conversion to work out the height of the tallest person in centimetres. 8 feet and 11 inches. So what we have to do here is split up 8 feet into centimetres. So we're going to multiply that by 30 because each foot is worth 30 centimetres. So 8 times 30, use your times table facts. I get 240 centimetres. And then 1 inch is 2.5 centimetres. So I've got to do 11 times 2.5. Now again, if you're stuck on how to do this, just put it into our method, write it out formally like this. 2.5 multiplied by 11. The great thing is, because we know our 11 times tables, we can just do 11 times 5 is 55. 11 times 2 is 22, plus the 5 is 27. We have 27.25. That's centimetres. So we've actually done 2 steps already. This requires 3 steps to answer this because we will need to now find the total. So we're going to do 240 plus 27.5. And then we put 0.5 at the end because we can put a placeholder in if we need to. 7 ones, 6 tens, and 2 hundreds. 267.5 centimetres. Now, again, I want to make the point. If you were asked to add up these 2 numbers in an arithmetic test, you'd probably get it right. If you were asked 11 times 2.5 or 8 times 30, these are all easy arithmetic questions. Okay, so the maths here, you can do it. And we spoke about this yesterday. If you've already felt confident with the arithmetic paper, you feel like you've picked up enough marks already, lots of you might already be sitting on a pass because you've done paper 1 and paper 2 and you've already got to the pass mark. These are bonus marks now to push on, and actually we can pick out these 2 mark questions that look daunting. They can actually be quite straightforward. Have a go answering this question. I'll go through it after. Classic 2 mark question here. At the start of June, there were 1,793 cars in the shop, toy cars. During June, why every video do I struggle to say a word? During June, thanks for putting up with me, by the way, 8,728 more cars were delivered. So you need to now work out, are we adding or subtracting? 9,473 toy cars were sold. Are we adding or subtracting? Just so you know, this is addition and subtraction. The point is you need to figure out what to do with the numbers. So if we start with 1793, delivered, that means we add that on. So 8,728. We're going to add that on. And then whatever we get as our answer over here, if we stopped, we'd get 0 marks. Put the line in, you know you've got to do at least 2 things. Let's figure out the answer here first. It's 11. Then we get 12 when we add up all of those. Then we get 15. And now we get 10 at the end. So 10,521. Stop there, you get 0 marks. Lots of people think, oh, I'll get 1. No, you won't. You get 0 because you've not done a full method to fully understand the question. Then we put the answer 10,521 over here. And now this many were sold. So we need to take that away. So it's an addition and a subtraction. Line up your digits carefully. 9473. And then this is just a case of addition and subtraction, which really should be like bread and butter. 8 in the ones. Again, we can't do that, so we're going to exchange. We have 4 now in the tens, 0 in the hundreds. Exchange here, 10 take away 9 is just 1. We have 1,048 at the end. The maths is simple. This is what I want to tell you. The maths is easy. Okay? I've done this kind of maths with year 3 children and year 4 children. Addition and subtraction. Why does it become hard? Because you need to figure out what these words mean here, these vocabulary words. A good thing to do would just to be go over and think, okay, do I know which words mean to subtract? Do I know which words mean to add? Sold means I'm getting rid of them. Delivered means I'm getting them. The paper is probably going to come up with a different way of saying increase or decrease. It's going to use language. It's about trying to understand that, and practicing these are really useful to understanding that. Here's the next question. A small box contains 650 grams of cereal. A large box contains 20% more. So it's a percentage question. One portion is 40 grams. How many full portions are in a large box? This is lots of different steps. We know it's at least 2 marks. We need to do at least 2 things. And it's about percentages and it's about division. Okay, so I want you to have a go for me, see what you get, then I'll go through the answer. This is good prep before doing a reasoning paper. Practice, 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 practice. Okay, so a small box 650, and the question is actually about a large box. We need to figure out how much is in this large box. A large box contains 20% more. So we need to take a small box, which is 650, and we need to add on 20%. Well, what is 20%? Well, 10%, we should know, is going to be dividing this by 10, so that's 65, which means 20% is 2 lots of 10%, which is 130. So if it's 20% more, we're going to add these two numbers together. 650 plus 130, that gets me 780 grams in a large box. Now, one portion's 40 grams, so I've done the first bit of working out here. How many full portions are there in a large box? How many times does 40 grams go into 780? That's the question we're being asked here. Now, you could do it in a number of ways, okay? You could, quite simply, use your times table facts of counting in fours to get up to close to 78. That would be a way of doing this. I like to use chunking. So 400 grams is 10 portions. So 20 portions is double that, is 800 grams. We can't get 20 portions because 800 is just a bit more than 780. So this is where we can use our fluency, okay? We know then, okay, well, what would 19 portions be? If you know 20 portions is 800, we are able to work out 19 by doing a simple subtraction. Take away one portion, which is taking away 40 grams. That means that 19 portions is 700, and that's a really bad 7, is 760 grams. That is how many full portions we can make. We can make 19 full portions, and with 780, there would be 20 grams left over. This, though, is not enough to make a full portion, so we do not count it. The answer was 19. Fantastic if you got that. I love this question. I love questions like this where the maths is so simple, but it's given in a way that's quite tricky sometimes to understand. And whenever you see a balancing scale, the thing you should think about is an equal sign. Okay? There's a bit of algebra in this. What have I put down? Multiplication and division. So that's what you're going to have to use here. Okay? Have a go. See if you can get the right answer. We'll go through it together afterwards. Practice makes perfect. 6 small bricks have the same mass as 5 large bricks. This same, again, and this balancing scale is simply here to show us that these are equal. Okay, so 5 small bricks, we'll put 5s, is equal to, 6 small bricks, 6s is equal to 5l. That's what we're saying here. 6 small is equal to 5 large. The mass of one small brick is 2.5 kilograms. So each time we see a small brick, that's 2.5 kilograms. So when we see a scale, we need to figure out, okay, what's the weight on this side? And what's the weight on that side? That's going to be the first thing, because as soon as we figure out the weight on one side, it must be equal to the other because we've got that equal sign in the middle because it's balanced. So if one small brick is 2.5, what we actually need to do is 2.5 multiplied by 6 to give us the total weight on this side of the scale. 6 times 5 is 30. Put your decimal place in. 6 times 2 is 12. Add the 3 is 5. So it's 15 kilograms over here. Now, immediately, without doing any working out, we know that this side is 15 kilograms. Lots of people at this point might think, yeah, I've done it. Put 15 kilograms in. No. This is a 2-mark question. I've just covered that up. This is a 2-mark question. You know you're going to have to do something else. And here's the key. 15 kilograms is 5 blocks. So you actually have to do 15 divided by 5 to get one of the large bricks. Simple now. Multiplication and division facts. The answer is 3 kilograms. Look what we actually had to do for this question. This is what blows my mind. 2.5 times 6, 15 divided by 5. This is extremely simple. And this is what I need you to know before you sit your paper 3 reasoning. The maths in these papers for a lot of these questions that seem tricky is incredibly simple maths. The hard bit comes from writing things down, jotting notes, and understanding what the words mean. Take your time to do this, because if you unlock the question and you find out what the 2 or 3 steps are to get there, then you're going to be able to get 2 marks. That is the biggest piece of advice that I can give you guys. And you know I'm here to give you advice. You know I'm here to try and help you. Have a go at this question on your own. See if you can solve it. What maths we have to do. I'm not going to show you this time before you have a go yourself. See what you can do. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go there. A box of 24 chocolate eggs has a mass of 870 grams. The empty box has a mass of 30 grams. So what we see here is if the box is 30 And the box plus 24 chocolates is 870 grams. So this entire amount is 870. What we can actually figure out then is if the box is 30, we're going to count that. So the actual mass of the 24 chocolates is what's extra above 30. So what's the difference between 30 and 870? So the first step here is to work out how much do the 24 chocolates weigh. And that first step is something that trips up a lot of people because we've got to take away 30 there and we get 840. That's the first step. 24 chocolates is 840 grams. That is really, really important. That's the first step. Okay, so you can't just divide by 24 because now we need to know the mass of one chocolate egg. So we're going to take the mass of 24 of them, which we've just worked out as 840, and now we need to divide by 24. There are two ways to do this. You can look at our video for long division, okay? Look at our video for long division. We can divide by 24, do multiples of 24. If you're really confident with that, that's fine. I'm going to show you a different method. So let me get my eraser as I explain what that different method is. When we're dividing by a number, which is a large number, we can split it into its factors. So what we're actually doing here is 840 divided by 24. This is the same as doing 840 divided by two numbers that are factors of 24 together. In this case, it would be 4 and divide by 6. 4 times 6 is 24. So all I've done here is swap in divide by 24 by divide by 4 divide by 6. These are the same. You can use factors to divide more efficiently. 840 divided by 4, that is incredibly easy. That's 210. So I've done my divide by 4. If you don't believe me, do short division. How many 4s in 8? 2. How many 4s in 1? 4s in 4? 1. And then once I've got this, I can now divide this by 6 because then I would have completed my dividing by 24. So using the bus stop method, 6's into 2 don't go, 6's into 21 go 3 times with 3 left over, 6's into 30 go 5 times, and I've got 35 grams. Don't believe me? Do long multiplication. If you like long division, if that's what you like, it will still come to 35 grams. But point, why am I showing you this? Because you might have loads of people sat in the hall taking the SATs papers, and you might have 7 different ways of getting to an answer, which is actually correct. Okay, so do what you're confident with. That's my next top tip here. If you're confident with a method, use it. Lots of people have put comments asking me, could I do it mentally? Yeah, of course you can. But my advice is always to show you're working out. There's no reason why you shouldn't. You get loads of time in this test to do that. Okay, so that's my number one tip. I've got about 17 number one tips, haven't I? It's quite hard to pick. Subtraction and long division, of course, we know that. Now here's another one. Hopefully you're finding this useful, guys. Have another go at practicing this yourself. Then I'll tell you what the maths is. So that's the first step to these two-step problems. What is the maths? And then do and execute the maths with more than one step. Have a go. Okay, Jacob cuts 4 meters of ribbon into 3 pieces. The length of the first piece is 1.28 meters. The length of the second piece is 1.65 meters. Work out the length of the third piece. This is a classic question where we have 3 parts. We're given the total and 2 of the parts. So we're going to give this total amount of ribbon is 4 meters. We're given the length of 2 of these parts, and we want to figure out what's left over. This comes in lots of shapes and sizes. And my next tip for getting full mark, well, not as many marks as possible, rather, in this reasoning paper is to know the types of questions that will come up. This is very, very common. So 4 meters, if this is 1.28 and this is 1.65, what's left? 2 ways to answer this question. You can do 4 meters, take away 1.28, get an answer, and then take away 1.65. Or you could put all this together, add these 2 numbers up, and then take it off 4 all at once. My favorite method is very simple. I like to just do subtraction twice in a row because I'm confident with subtraction. If you're not as confident, you should do the other method. So 4 meters, you can see I've changed it to 4.00 just to make sure I've got my placeholders. Take away 1.28. What I'm doing here is I'm cutting off this piece of the ribbon. So 4 meters take away 1.28, and I'm really confident with my double exchanging. I can't take from this column, so I'm going to go all the way over to the 4 and make this a 3. Now I have 10 tenths. I'm going to take a tenth and leave 9 tenths. Now I have 10 hundredths. 10 take away is 2, 9 take away 2 is 7. Put the decimal in, and I have 2.72. What I've got now is that this distance of the remaining ribbon is 2.72 meters. Okay, cool. So what do I do with 2.72? Well, I'm going to cut off this middle bit of ribbon. Then what I'm left with is the answer. 2.72 subtract 1.65. Again, it's just testing, can you do this properly? 2 take away 5, no, we're going to exchange. 12 take away 5 is 7. 6 take away 6 is nothing. excuse me, put your decimal place in, 2 take away 1 is 1. We've got 1.07 meters. Guys, in an arithmetic test, if you were given these two questions separately, it's very common, you're probably more confident. It's just about unlocking it. Draw a picture if it helps. That's my next tip to passing this reasoning paper. Draw a picture to visualize what the question is asking you to do. That may well unlock, which is the number one thing we're trying to do in this entire video every time, is to unlock the maths that's hidden inside the questions. So let's go over to the next one. Have a go. I love this question. It's really simple, only if you jot things down. So that's my number one tip here. Jot down your working out. What's the answer? How quick can you get there? This is just an ultimate example of inverse. So we've got 4 operations. It's as simple as that. Lara chooses a number less than 20. We don't know what it is, and we need to find it out. What number did she start with? She divides it by 2, then she adds 6, then she divides her result by 3. She ends up with 4.5. Inverse machines, really simple. Start at the end and go backwards. But because we're going backwards, we need to do the inverse. So we're going to multiply it by 3, then we're going to subtract 6, and then we're going to times it by 2, because these are the inverse of each other. So there's 3 steps here actually for 2 marks, but they're very simple steps. That's why you need to do 3 of them. So 4.5, let's show our working out, multiplied by 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Put your decimal place in. 3 times 4 is 12, plus the 1 is 13.5. Then we're going to subtract 6, so 13.5. Be very careful with your digits. Take away 6 ones, so it goes here. You can put the 0.0 in if you want to. 5 take away nothing is not nothing, Mr. Look how easy it is to make a mistake. Even me, yeah, the guy who spent hours and hours doing SATs videos for you, I nearly made a mistake then. So 5 take away 0 is 5, decimal place. 3 take away 6 we can't do. 13 take away 6 is 7. We have 7.5. Nice. We've done times by 3. We've done take away 6. Now we're going to multiply it by 2. 7.5 multiplied by 2 is the same as doing 7.5 plus 7.5, and I get 15 as an answer. Is it less than 20? Yes, I'm happy with that. Cool. Inverse machines are not hard, but I promise you, if you get an inverse question, just write it out. Just write it out. Please just write it out, guys. Come on, you've listened to me so far. I'll give you good help, right? Okay. Love this question because it's about change. Guys, let me know in the comments below. When was the last time you used change? Do people still use change? It's all cards now and contactless, right? Is change becoming irrelevant? I don't know. Tell me down below. Do you use change or not? Either way, you've got to try and answer this question. No help from me now. Just have a go. I'll show you how to do it afterwards. Best prep for that SATs paper. I love this question. It's really tricky. So if you found it tricky, don't worry. Just watch me work it out. Olivia buys 3 packs of nuts. 1, 2, 3. Remember that top tip of drawing out the question. She pays with a £2 coin and this is her change. Okay, so she has a bit of change. I'm going to label this C for change. And that means that the total was £2 because she paid with a £2 coin. I don't know where they're going to get 3 packets of nuts for £2 these days. 1 packet alone is more than £2. Anyway, this must be an outdated question. If it was these days, we'd be paying with a £20 note. £2 with the change. This is her change. It doesn't tell you what the change is because the first step in this question is to figure it out. 50 plus 20 plus 10 plus 10 plus 5. This is the kind of stuff you should do in your head. 50 plus 20 is 70, 80, 90, 95. So 95p is the change. So I can label here the change was 95 pence. So let's figure out how much the nuts cost then. So £2 take away 95 pence. 2.00 take away 95. Again, you can use column method. If you're confident doing it mentally, you'll know that it's £1 and 5 pence because £1 and 5 plus 95 equals £2. So we know that 3 packets of nuts cost £1 and 5 pence. But what does the question actually ask you to do? It's to work out 1 packet of nuts. So because there's 3 of them, we need to divide 1.05 by 3. Again, if you've got some space on the side, you can actually use that to do your working out if you run out of space down here. It still will be it will be checked still. It's best to do it in the box, but if you run out, you can do it on the outside. So, £1 5 pence divided by 3. 3's into 1 go no times. Put a decimal place in. Exchange over the 1. 3's into 10 go 3 times with 1 left over. 3's into 5 go 5 times. The answer is 0.35. 0.35 what? Pounds. This is vital. Or you could put 35p. Has to be that way round. You cannot put £35. You cannot put 0.35 pence. Neither of those are correct. Be really, really, really clear with your units, whatever you're choosing. But there is an example of 1.05 divided by 3, adding up 50 and 20 and 10 and 10 and 5, and doing £2 to take away 95. 3 steps there, but my goodness me, guys, do you see how hidden inside these reasoning problems, quite often in these 2-mark questions, which can look daunting, is incredibly simple maths? Hopefully you see that. Money and full operations, obviously, and this leaves me with one last thing to do as your last bit of prep. Guys, I want you to turn into the teacher now, okay? I've done enough of these videos, okay? I've done enough of this, and you guys have really enjoyed it, I hope. So make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, because we will do more in the future. Let me down in the comments below 2 things, please. 1, what you want to see from us, video-wise, in the future, in between us waiting for the SATS papers to be released. And 2, I want you to mark mine. What's my score out of 2? And tell me why. I'll be pinning and liking comments that tell me exactly why. See you soon, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's keep this train going. Amazing. See you next time.